Anything you could do, I could do better. I can do anything better than you. Better than you. Better than you. Better than you. Better than you.
Hey, y'all know what that is. That means we are back. It's only the second, what is this, the third episode, Sterls? We back finally with the chop up, man. We back. It's your boy Jay Spence the King. It's your boy Sterls for the girls. And we got Old Faithful. We got my, like, even though he's switching up wearing different colors, we got the family joining us again tonight. My brother, All Bro Poe, is with us, and we about to have a good time. The title of this episode is Beyond the Baby Oil, and we're going to get into it. We're going to talk about all the oil, all the baby oil, all of that stuff. What's going on, fellas?
Hey, what's good with it, man? We got All Bro Poe back in the building. Know what I'm saying?
Baby oil is a crazy way to start the pod.
Hey. It's a crazy way to start a pod.
Hey,
it is.
Slippery.
It's crazy.
They say it's slippery.
Yeah. We're not gonna start there though. We go. The show is Beyond the Baby Oil, but where we gonna start is though we're gonna talk about the reason why we always normally get together is football. So we're gonna start with the Dolphins. We can start with the Bills, whichever one y'all want to start with, and then we can transition to the other stuff. But where y'all want to start?
Wherever.
I mean, we could start with the Dolphins. I mean, I'm curious to hear this.
Yeah. Okay. Let's start with the Dolphins. So All Bro Poe. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
You done. That's like I just said. You done switch colors. You over here. He hitting him with the Jay-Z. He hitting the brim like Jay with on the. You know what I mean? Which album cover is that? I'm gonna get in trouble as a Jay fan. I'm supposed to know that. But Volume 3. I had to get it out. What's going on down there, man? Y'all obviously Tua's hurt, right? But what's really happening down there, man?
I don't really. It's not like the talent on the team is probably the most talented roster I think Jordan's been on as far as just straight talent individually. I want to say it's a late start because during training camp they kind of teetered on like being cautious for everybody, not wanting anybody to get hurt, giving guys extra days off, and that could be good for you long term health wise, concussions aside. But obviously it's gonna make sure that you're late to the party when it's run fit, like little things. People don't really take into account the little things on teams. And if we look at the defense, like we've struggled with our run defense, and it's run fits, and that takes time. Just like your running game, as far as your blocking, picking up blitzes, the communication between your O-linemen, that takes time. And if you look at what we've struggled with, is that it's everything that's communication based. It's the run fits on the defense and the offensive line being able to pick up certain things, and then obviously we have 2 starting wide receivers and then guys that we've been picking up and cutting that is playing for us. So there's a lot of small pieces that's adding to not a great start. What I am happy about is that our run game has been solid, and our defensive backs have been solid as for the most part, aside from like 4 drives. So and those things you can build around. It's nice to have things that you can build around when you're struggling like this. So I mean, if Huntley's the guy, then I mean we'll be all right.
You got something, Sterls? No, before I go, you got something? No, I ain't even. No, I'm not on that type of time. I'm being
hey man, look, Poe's my guy, but I mean, yeah, run fits. We could talk about that, but it's the offense right now. I mean, you don't have your main signal caller. I mean, it's hard to like if you had Tua, it would be one thing where you could score with anybody. One top 5 best offense in the league, but without him, having to rely on a backup or Tyler Huntley who just got there a couple weeks ago. I mean, that's tough, bro. That's tough. So not only are you back, figuring out your defense, new defensive coordinator, but you're also trying to figure out chemistry on offense. And I think, I like McDaniels, but I mean, that's a haul. That's a lot to do with a young quarterback. So I don't know, man. I just don't see the hope. I don't see it. Tua's got to come back for me to be excited about it.
Well, and then my question is, because you mentioned the signal caller. So Tua, the report is that he's going to be out until at least week 8, right? Like that. At
Mhm.
least is that accurate?
No, he was 4 weeks from the beginning of the Seattle game, so it'd be 4 weeks after the Seattle game, so 4 more games, and I'm not sure what week that is.
Okay.
Uh,
So, but you got a few weeks, and so the thing is, the way the offense looks right now, and this is even being inclusive of the run game that's been successful. I appreciate your boy because he's on my fantasy team, and I'm smacking boys in that. Oh, you in the league? You in the league where I'm smacking everybody? You in that league? So
yes,
I'm with it. I appreciate it, but outside of that, it's looking like a historically bad offense without Tua. Like seriously, look at the. I'll send you some stuff after because we didn't have a chance to prepare on this conversation. So I'll send you some stuff when we're off. It's looking bad. Like y'all can't move the ball. Go and look at the metrics. It looks really bad.
That's not completely true. Not being able to
No,
move the ball is not completely true
okay.
because
I'm
they
saying
move the
outside of
ball
that, well, you got the run game that's kind of working, but y'all not putting up points. And
right,
and
but
so what
that's
I'm
field
saying is,
goals, missed opportunities in the red zone.
mhm,
Like I mean, we've gotten there. We've gotten to. We should have had 10 points from a drop in that Seattle game from a drop touchdown catch from a tight end and a
okay.
missed field goal. And so like that's 13 points right there, and who knows what type of game it is. But I don't get me wrong, I understand how important two is, but the opportunities have been there. We've been all right as far as being able to let the defense hold it down until Tua gets back. It's just we haven't had a guy that can get it in the end zone, and I do think Huntley is the guy. It just depends on how long it takes for him to get back into the rhythm.
Well, I guess so. For me, the when if I'm a Dolphins fan, I'm looking at the offense. I'm saying like, yo, we can't score even with Tariq Hill. We can't do this even with like if we don't have a. I'm just saying your offense don't look like it, which is it's just a fact. Without I'm a two of I'm not. I don't want to call myself a fan, but I really hype him more than I feel like most Bills fans do. I try to
Sure.
hype him because I think he's accurate. I think he makes good decisions, and I think he makes that offense go. Without him, man, it looks bad. So even let's just say week 7, right? So week 7, you got 3 more games before then. With your offense looking like that, do you think the defense is able to hold it to the point where you're able to win 2 of those games? Or because I'm telling you, if you get to the point where you're 1-6, I don't care how a blazing Tua comes back. Like he struggles in cold months. It's just facts. So you're looking back over his career, and he doesn't play well against the teams that you're going up against in the end of the season as well. So I'm just saying, I'm not saying that like you can't win it. I'm saying it's going to be difficult games. There will be games where it's actually going to have to be some good ball being played. So there's little room for it's just no room for error. Do you feel at that point, you know, you guys can really come back, and I understand you're there now, but that's how your outlook sounds.
The struggles with the offense was with Tua too. That's the thing though. It was that the struggles with the offense has nothing to do, in my opinion, with Tua being gone. It obviously would help to have him back. But we struggled against Jacksonville. We had 2 80-yard plays that saved us as far as offensively, but our defense held it down. Against the Bills, we had 3 turnovers that led to 17 points in that game that completely flips and these are turnovers off of a drop pass by a receiver and a receiver falling, Tua just throwing a ball up to Ingram trying to get it out of bounds and he can't get it there. These struggles are not specifically because of Tua being gone. Now Skyler came in and he just wasn't ready. He's just not a good enough quarterback in the NFL, and it's been one game. Boyle looked good at the end of that game.
Mm.
And so, and I'm not saying Boyle's the king savior, but at the end of that game with that offense out there, I think he had like an 87 quarterback rating, and he was throwing the ball around. He had the guy that should have caught a touchdown pass went through his hands, and we got into field goal range and missed a field goal. And so, like, I'm not saying Boyle's the guy. I would rather have Huntley. I think he can lead this offense. I just am not going to base it off of one game when the offensive struggles has to do with health and has to do with the entirety of the wide. I want to say just health as far as the wide receivers being there. Our tight ends are missing. Like I don't want to put it on McDaniels because it's been one game without Tua with Skyler, who should have never been starting. And 2 games where the offense struggled in the Jacksonville game, and you're playing against the best team in the NFL at this moment. And so like that, those are the 3 games you have to take from. I'm not dead on. I wasn't dead last year when we lost to the Patriots, Jets, and Broncos, and I'm not dead on it this year because the talent on this team, if it as soon as it clicks, is gonna be a really good football team.
Sterls.
I feel you, man. I feel you. It's hard, dog. I mean, we're talking, the game is already, such small margins, and you're talking about relying on a young quarterback that Boyle, really? That's what we're banking it on him. I mean, your defense is going to have to. It'd be one thing if like your defense was playing out of its mind to where you can win 20-17 games. The problem is they're still figuring it out. So my question is, I guess, how long? What's the wait time here? You know what I'm saying? Like, because you're what, 1-2 now, and you got to stay. They got to start winning some games. Like, so if you lose another one, you're in trouble, big time trouble. Because I mean, with Tua back, I mean, are you going to knock off 6 straight wins, 7 straight wins? Not to mention, when you look at it from a leadership point of view, you guys got a lot of leaders, but the continuity just isn't there yet, right? So I think those things. I'm not saying they're dead, but if they lose another game or two, season's over. It really is. It's over.
This is what you said. No, hold on. And don't get me wrong, I hear you.
If you start one,
this is what you said last year.
Hold on. If you start 1-4, come on.
If we lose to the Titans, then I'm gonna have some issues.
Which beat you last year with Will Levis. Right?
They beat a different team last year. This is not that same team.
Was it not the Miami Dolphins?
It wasn't the same team. Anyway, my point is, you said this last year. You said that we were done last year. And my point is, any team can click it and find 4 or 5 in a row. Any team. And as soon as Tua gets back, if you get on a little bit of a run against teams that you should beat, we should beat this Titans team. We should beat some of the teams that we have come. In my opinion, they should beat the Jets even with a backup. And so I am not gonna sit here and say if we lose to who do we play the Titans and then one more and then the Bills. If we lose to the Bills again and it's a blowout, am I gonna sit here and say the season's over? No. There's many ways to get to the playoffs.
I mean,
it's tough.
Yeah.
It's just tough, man. It's tough, dog.
Yeah, and I think at this point right now, me and Sterls, we're both trying to be like we're not trying to even be funny right now. We're like really like, yo, do you understand? Like your season is really on the edge right now. Like it's close already. And I'm just trying to show love from that perspective. But now I guess it's the chop up. Let's chop this shit up. You know what I'm saying? Let's chop it up.
I get it. I get like that because that's the perspective, and not your guys, but that's the perspective that the entirety of Bills fans had last year. Is the perspective that you can't just turn it on at some point and notch off like 4. And it's like, oh, if we do, then maybe, but I don't know if you can.
This is where I feel like the difference is. Like every game that we went into last season, the Bills fans had Josh Allen. And it's one of those things where you know what your team is like when you have your guys there. We had Josh, we had Steph, we had Gabe. The offense might not have looked like we wanted it to look at times, but everybody had faith because we've seen this combination of players do things. So we were still right now, you're without your starting quarterback. You know what I'm saying? Like you're talking about bringing guys in week and week out that you end up cutting as a third receiver or whatever.
They come back. The receivers come back after next week, by the way. The 3 hurt.
But I'm just saying, like, but you're getting, it's a completely different type of your team is just constructed differently every Sunday. Or whatever night y'all play. So what I'm saying is like that inconsistency until Tua gets back. And then you're talking like, yeah, when Tua gets back, then we just gonna go on a run like the Bills did with Josh. Tua ain't Josh. Like, and I'm not saying that to be
the team with Tua can be just as good as, or if not way better than the Bills team from last year.
Come on, it's a big if to come back from an injury and be expected to go on an undefeated run to the playoffs. Like it's a big if.
I'm not asking him to go undefeated. He can get 10. If you go into week 7, 2-4, or 3-3, I'm not if you go into a week 1-6 and half the season is gone, you're asking him to win 9 straight or 10 straight. If you go into whenever Tua gets back with 1 win, the season probably chopped.
Man,
But
I think that
I'm
quarterback makes such a huge difference, bro. I just think it make a huge difference. Yes, I'm sure. I wanted to is it good Poe that I play that video that I sent you?
I did. I saw it.
Okay, so this clip is from actually like a Dolphins podcast where apparently Rachel had some words after the game. They had some comments. I want your thoughts on this.
Well, let's stick with what she said. I agree with her. I mean, I watched this team training camp, and you know, a couple NFL people who I talk with watch, and they're like, they don't practice very hard. You know, they don't, and that's by design. I think that's what Mike how he's done it. You know, they'd say, you know, and you look at them and they're doing things, and I'm not saying it was cutting edge stuff of where, okay, for better or worse, and you look at the performance, you can say worse. Players running, you know, before scrimmages, running assignments with no helmets. You'd see Washington in full pads. The Dolphins are wearing gym shorts, basically. You see the foul.
I'm gonna cut it there. It was still like another minute and change, so I'm gonna cut it there. But the gist of the thing is, Rachel tweeted out that, you know, there's too many good players, or there's too much talent to waste on this team. They don't work hard enough. What's your perspective on that? Like, I feel like obviously now Dolphins fans Twitter, or Dolphins Twitter, looks a lot like Bills Mafia Twitter last year. So I want your not necessarily on her or trying to be drama. I'm talking about, how do you feel about that? Because the guy agreed. He said he feels that they're not working hard enough. What's your thoughts on that?
I do have to state that Rachel quoted someone that said our team is the definition of when hard work beats talent. And she said, I have to, and then they said that there's too much talent on the team to waste. And she quoted it and said, I fully agree. In my opinion, she was fully agreeing with the fact that there's too much talent on this team to waste. Okay. This team has worked hard in the offseason, and I'm talking about conditioning wise. They didn't do a lot of physical stuff at the beginning of the year. We talked about this, about the health of the guys on the team and how they wanted to be precautious with the team coming in. Do I think that has effect on how they're playing right now? Yes, because a lot of the physical stuff is what I was talking about. The run fits, the defensive linebackers, making sure that they're in cohesion with the defensive linemen. They didn't do a lot of that, and they're kind of working it out as it goes along. And to be honest, the defense, as well as weird as it's looked, for the most part, they've played well. They've had like a few drives each game that they want to have back, and then they didn't hold them to field goals. But either way, as far as the hardworking thing, I do think that they were precautious with how they treated the players this year because of how many injuries they had last year, and they're dealing with the repercussions of it, which is why I think that at some point it's going to kick into gear, is because it does take a while for that physicality of football to come back to you after a full training camp. But as far as conditioning and being in shape, all of these guys are in shape. All of these guys are hardworking. From what I can tell, all of these guys are IQ wise. That's what they focused on. IQ wise, they focused on speaking in meetings and doing walkthroughs and kind of getting that. But the physicality part of it, they're just a little bit behind right now.
I'll be honest. I think it's crazy for anybody to think that these guys don't work. And I'm not just talking about the Dolphins or the Bills. I mean, in general, these guys are in the league. Yeah. And I know there may be a guy here or there who might not be locked in, or, you know, it might be a guy that's kind of ready to retire or whatever. But it's kind of insane to think that these guys aren't in shape and that these guys aren't working hard. So I didn't personally see or get the full context of like Rachel's back and forth on there. I just saw kind of what everybody was talking about. So I just wanted your thoughts on that. One last question about being down there now, man, because, you know, your brother's my boy, and I, you know what I mean, like, that's my dog. So I do want to kind of defensively now. We just talked offense. Defensively, what's the difference? So it's a double question here. Like, what's the difference in everything in prep or at, like the scheme wise for your brother's fit versus what it was here, and then what's working and what's not working, because again, wins and losses. So I'm not talking about any individual player. I'm saying what hasn't been translating to the point where the Buffalo Bills are allowed to put up 30 points in your home stadium, or you lose against a team that you really feel like you should win against. So what's working and what's not translating to the wins?
So the first half of every game the Dolphins defense has struggled. Their second half, I believe they're giving up 100 or sub 100 yards in the second half of each game. And in the first half, they're giving like 150 to 190. And a lot of that is the difference is a big play, right? So like the difference in holding to a team to 120 and 171 last week against Seattle was one big play where our safety at that time had bit on a little hitch and go by one of the fastest guys in the league. And that's one play that can take, and the Bills, as far as historically, didn't give up those. So they didn't give up. They made sure that you might catch them underneath. This is why the disrespect on how they play, and you all loving it now. But say it's 2 minutes and we give up a 14, 15 yard dig route, and we're like, oh, why are you playing so deep? Well, because that's how they play their defense. It is a shell. It's a soft shell. We don't give up big plays. They didn't do it in 7 years while Micah and Jordan were there. The difference is these guys want to make plays in Miami. So in my opinion, at some point, the turnovers for this team is going to ramp up, but a lot of big plays do get given up at some point. Mm-hmm. And if there was a difference in the secondary scheme and the fit with Jordan, that's the only difference, is that there's a difference between aggression on how both teams play. No, the Dolphins aren't really going to sit in that too high shell all as much as the Bills do. And so that's the smallest difference. But offensively and how we're winning games, like we played 2 teams that are 3-0 right now. And in one of the games, we had 3 turnovers. Like I said, that led to 17 points. And that's how much I believe you beat us by, 31-14. That's how much you guys beat us by. And then you can't win games like that. You can't win games when the turnover margin is 3-0. And then on the Seattle side, we gave up a 71-yard bomb where that game at halftime would be 10-3. It's these little plays that I believe at some point it's going to get fixed. But those are the difference between the 2 losses is the 6 or 7 plays out there. It's always like that every year. It's 6 or 7 unless you're getting smacked every single week, absolutely blown out. Even when you're getting blown out, it's 6 or 7 plays away from that game being in your favor, and you're just not making those plays at that time. So I do think that the defense has played well given the circumstances of who their quarterback is right now and what happened in that Bills game. But it's been 3 games. It's really hard to take into account just 3 games and see what the difference is.
Okay. I'm with you. Got anything, Sterls, before we move on?
No, man. I mean, you hit it on the head. Let's just see what happens. I mean,
yeah,
the
and
NFL
like
is a week-to-week league,
And they fam. So I'm not trying to have you on here, and I'm not trying to like clown y'all for. I get it, injuries happen. So I'm not like that wasn't the point of trying to get you on here. It was more so I really wanted your perspective, because the way I see it, man, it just looks dim without a quarterback. And because to be honest, again, I'm a podcaster on purpose. There's a reason why I'm not a GM. There's a reason why I'm not a head coach. But to me, I'm looking, at least until he's back and I know he's healthy, I'm looking at somebody on the street. Like, where's I know people probably hate to hear Tannehill's name down there. I get it. Tannehill's probably a better option than what's on your roster right now. There are people, like, there are trades that could be made with, or there are guys on practice squads that could be picked up that I think, and I'm really not saying this as a diss. I just think you guys need a quarterback that can really come in and just easily run that, and not easily, because it's not an easy offense to pick up. I get that, but I'm saying, like, there's a way that your coach is smart enough to dilute it, because I don't want to say dumb it down, but he's smart enough to dilute it for whoever he can have in there to get things that work and put the ball into, like, Tyreek's. You get the ball into Tyreek's hands and then it's fine. The issue is I don't see it without a quarterback, man. And
I like the
y'all has
option
been-
of Stafford. And now that you bring it up, I like the option of like I was hoping the Rams would lose that game, so like this
Like, blow it
Stafford
up.
might become available at that point
blow it up.
for a 3-team trade between the Panthers. But I actually do like Huntley. I like the skill set he brings in comparison to what the offense has right now. He's able to elongate plays. He can take off and run. The offensive line is not the best pass blocking group, but they're a solid run blocking group to where you can build an offense around Huntley, which is why I think they went and got him to get you a guy, because you're not going to get an accurate guy unless it's Brady coming out of retirement or like Stafford, who can just dice up a defense with 2.5 seconds of holding time.
Man,
And
I'm gonna tell you what. I'm calling Cleveland. What do you want for Jameis? I get the jokes.
Yeah.
I'm for real. I get the jokes about see you shaking your head laughing. I get the 30.
he wouldn't survive here. He wouldn't survive here
For 5 games, for 4 games.
He wouldn't. In my opinion, he wouldn't survive with this offense.
Man,
Why is that? Why do you think that?
The quarterback on this offense has to be more of like a serious guy, in my opinion. Yeah, there's a lot of guys here that don't like fake juice and don't like fake speaking and doing that stuff that he brings. They don't like that kind of like funny, like weird.
I just feel like I think that's one of those things that changes from place to place. Like if I'm comfortable in a certain, like I think the places that he's been, they've wanted that version of Jameis.
Right.
I think for instance, if he goes to New England back when Bill Belichick is there, it's like, okay, you a robot, let's get it. I think those things, as I'm thinking about winning, your season is on the line, bro. Like to me, I'm thinking about improving that. I'm sorry.
You wouldn't take Huntley over him? You don't like Huntley?
No, I'm good with Huntley. I wasn't. I don't. That's not a diss to Huntley. I'm just saying, like, I feel like it was the minimum move that they could have done to suffice. But I feel like if you really was serious about this roster, which I think is a talented roster, I think I would have made a more serious move, man. Just you got backup quarterbacks on teams that are #1 overall picks, man. Like you know what I mean? I'm serious. You got Trey Lance on squad. No, you know what I'm saying? Like
I get it, but I don't like those players.
You ain't gotta like them, but it's a better option than what they. Okay, moving on. I don't mean to gloat here, but the Bills are 3-0. The Bills are 3-0, and one of those games was down there in Florida against your boys, and we're gonna move on from that. I had to get that 1 second in. I want to talk about some baby oil. Did y'all hear this crazy shit that's coming out of Puff story?
I mean, we all knew.
I read the affidavit.
Okay, so for I guess people who may be living under a rock somewhere, like who has no idea what's happening in the world, Puff, Diddy, P. Diddy, Love, whatever his name is, he had like 40 of them. Dude got arrested on some federal charges, bunch of stuff. They raided his house. They found 1,000 bottles of baby oil.
Industrial size baby oil. To that,
his lawyer came out today and said, "Fam, shop at Costco and be buy shit in bulk." Poe said, "We knew,
bro." I mean, like if you, so I'm talking about like Sterls. We like conspiracies, right? Me and you are the
yeah, y'all conspiracy,
and so like. In my opinion, we knew this 2, 3, 4, 5 years ago. We knew about this, and it was out there, and there was rumors, and people want to put it up to the side. And I get it. You don't want to picture that being a possibility, but like that's out there. Like these crazy things are out there, and I don't really know how deep that rabbit hole goes with Diddy. But I can't wait for all the video, like not the video parts, but like I can't wait for all like who was intertwined with it and what was going on for that to come out.
Man, them videos gonna drop like that R. Kelly video dropped, man. Like that joint went through the hood like wildfire. I'm telling you, when it's there, TMZ gonna get them and it's dropping.
Yeah, that's everyone.
But the reason why I bring this up on the show is like because obviously you know like obviously everybody wants to get political, so they start showing Kamala Harris with them, then they show Donald Trump with them, whatever. Okay. Forget politics. How many of these athletes, how many of these dudes in the NFL, in the NBA, Major League Baseball, how many of these dudes was caught up in these freak offs with Puff, bro? Like, you know what I mean? Like,
if you see somebody jump, really instantly in fame and celeb status, like where'd you come from?
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's like a lot of your heroes, you're gonna feel bad. You're gonna be crushed because a lot of your heroes are involved in this. LeBron James, ain't no party like a Diddy party. I mean,
Jay-Z.
I do want to say that I think there's a difference between, because he's also like way before he's made a distinction of like a Diddy party and a freak off. So I do. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying Bron has or hasn't. I'm not saying Hove has or hasn't. I don't know. I think all of them dudes that grew up in that era of hip hop probably got some stuff
yeah,
that could come out, and you know what I mean. Like it would not surprise me if, but at the same time, we ain't got to get on Hove. The FBI done already. No,
What?
the FBI has already done that on him.
I have a
they
question
ain't find
for y'all. Okay, all right.
No,
I have a question.
that's
I have a
fact.
question.
Go ahead. What's your question?
No, so he's not connected to that part, but he could have been at those
No,
inside.
that's what I'm saying. I don't know. And for me, it's like, you know
At what
I mean?
level? My question for y'all is: at what level of engagement for these celebrities who are like your favorites, like hip hop or whatever? At what level of engagement would you be okay with, to the point where like you're not gonna have a like if they're just there partying? What happens if they're in one of the videos that were taken secretively? Like, at what level of engagement on these freak offs would you be okay with, and still like being able to listen to their music and talk about them with positivity, like you like the person?
Well, let me start here. Let me put it like this. So like, fuck R. Kelly, right? Like, fuck that
Right.
dude.
Right.
Hard. Like, pause.
Right.
Pause. But
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. When happy people come on, I do the 2-step dance. It's happy people. When I hear, like, it's certain songs that was just a part of my life. It's a soundtrack to my life. And I'll be honest with you, Puff, for me, you know what I'm saying? Like, Bad Boy in the late 90s and
I've always
early
had issues with
2000s,
Puff.
like, and not even late 90s, in the 90s, like, period. You talking like that was the soundtrack to my life. So like, it's gonna be real difficult. Like, my grandfather and I were watching a show the other day, and 112 came on, Cupid.
Mm-hmm. Great song.
Great song. Puff. You know what I'm saying? Like, he got his hands on so much great. There's no way I'm not going.
That's super
Last night
interesting.
with Keisha Cole.
But there's one
That's
thing though.
Last night with Keisha Cole, I will fuck that, bro. Listen, it's one of the dopest songs. It's an anthem.
Yeah.
I'm not.
I can't even listen to P. Diddy and Meek Mill
bugging.
anymore, bro.
But hold on,
I
though.
can't.
Hold
I
on.
can't. After listening to that video,
Bugging.
I
Let
can't.
me add something to it. I think, like, it goes back to the human element.
Yeah.
Artists, I mean, they're gifted artists. Puffy is a gifted producer, artist. I can say, yeah, man, you're gifted and like the music, but I don't have to respect the lifestyle. And I think that's the thing where people in our generation now, they want to marry them together. Just because someone messes up and does heinous things doesn't mean that their artwork, their expression is bad too.
That's
Cancel culture.
Yeah.
And I'm not.
But I get it. But no, I get it. Like, I haven't liked Puffy since Big.
I
and
just,
Pop
after
died.
hearing like, if I would have never heard that video, I don't know if you guys know what video I'm talking about with Meek and Diddy. If I had never heard that, maybe in 10 years I'll forget about that and I'll be able to listen to their music, or 5 years, whatever it is. After hearing it, every time I hear a Diddy or a Meek Mill song, that sound just comes up. And when these videos come out and these sound recordings come out of all these celebrities doing whatever, I just don't know if I'm gonna be able to look at them the same, because I hear it, I see it, like it's right in front of me. You know what I mean?
I feel you.
No,
on a similar take. I don't listen to Drake the same after the beef. So I get it. Things change your perception on people. So I get that. But we ain't got to stay on this. It was just like interesting to me. And I'm like, yo, everybody trying to put it on the presidential candidates and try to get messy with politics.
Yeah.
But like, yo, we watch a lot of football, and a lot of these dudes, when they make it, they sign to these new sports, these new sports groups that represent players instead of like the old school agents. and now they got these new Rock Nation, and I think T.I. got one, and Snoop got one, and like everybody got these sports management agencies now. So now they're signing and they're doing all of these different things. They level up. You sign the Rock Nation, guess what? You get the chain. Hove come see you. You sign the. So I'm just saying, like, it's a little different. A lot of these guys might be tied up in that stuff, and it's a little scary to think. A little scary to think.
Yeah, man. I can't wait till it all comes out. I gotta know now.
I'm gonna be glued to this case.
Glued to it.
It'll be all over Twitter.
Oh yeah, and it already is, man. Did y'all see the Young Dolph? Y'all following the Young Dolph trial right now?
I actually am. It's gonna be over quick though.
Yeah, they already.
Yeah,
but
that's over.
$800, man. That's crazy, bro.
Okay, so for those who don't know, this ain't a hip hop show, but damn it, whatever. For those who don't know, Young Dolph was killed a few years ago. The guys apparently were hired to do this. It was a hit. Was promised $100,000 for it, man. They ended up doing it, and that when they said they did it, his shirt had probably 20 holes in it, man. Like they really made sure he was put down. They got $800 total. That's crazy to me. You took a life. And then I don't get too involved with the newer generation of music and stuff.
Sure.
So I don't really know who these young dudes are, but I do know some of the good things that he's done. I'm sure he probably did some other stuff, but he was at a place that apparently he invested in to open up over there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
he's one of my favorite artists, so I've been following dude for a long time. I don't
listen to his music, so I can't.
He's a Tennessee guy.
I never heard him.
Yeah, he's a Tennessee guy, man. He Dolph was one of the real ones, man. Like he was always kind of like Nip, always giving back to the community and stuff like that. So that's why I really respected Dolph and what he did. But $800, man, that to me, the way they did it, bro, that's wild to me, man. It's crazy.
Daryl said he was about to hand out some turkeys. He was on this Frank Lucas. You know what I'm saying? Like he was out there trying to.
And they said that, and they said they would have got him when he was handing out turkeys too.
Oh, I believe it. These it's ruthless out right now, man. It's ruthless. We can move on. We can move on.
I just had to throw that out there, though, man.
No, it's just certain cases and stuff like that. I feel like it's real easy to spin out. We could talk about that stuff for an hour and a half, man.
Oh, dude, hours. Dude, there's so much I want to say about it, but is this the right platform? But
man, it is. You can say whatever you want. Y'all watched the fight last weekend, Anthony Joshua?
Yes,
I saw the clip,
bro. How, man? He just ain't the same dude. It's been a few fights now. Just ain't the same dude.
Yeah, I don't think him or Fury. They're getting up there. They're still youngish, but fighting world, like you get to 28, 29, 30, it might be time. I don't know.
30 might be young. That might be young. Especially when you've seen a lot of guys go close to 40 a fight.
Heavyweight though. Heavyweight, like nowadays, you get hit in the head that many times, like Mike, you might end up like Mike Tyson, and nobody want to, you know what I mean? Nobody want to.
First of all, let's talk about because and your brother is part of the company with him, right? With Paul,
Jake, yeah.
Let's talk about what is happening with this. Why is he out there getting fat on purpose for this fight with Mike Tyson? Like Mike ain't got that right hand or that left hook or any hit. Like I get it, it's advertisement, it's about money, but and Mike is old. If it was a real fight, I don't think Mike stands a chance right now.
Is that real? Is that a fact?
I'm pretty sure that's a suit, but he is gaining weight to try but that belly is a suit. That's not real.
Okay.
Where I'm going is, and I think he's doing a lot of clown shit. Like you need to be actually, and maybe he is, and maybe it's literally just 20 seconds of his day where he decides to be like, all right, real quick, let me put the suit on and we gonna do something for some likes or whatever. But ain't no way. And I get it, I'm not a professional fighter. Just like I said, I ain't the coach, I ain't the GM, none of that. But I'm not about to go in front of Mike Tyson and not be prepared. Like this dude just seemed like he clowning a lot.
You're right, but that's Jake. So don't get it twisted. Jake is grinder, and however you feel about Jake or not, he works 6 a.m. to 2, 3 on just boxing, and then he clowns after. But he has a lot of energy to do all that stuff, and still clown at the end of it. But that's what sells his tickets.
See, I like him. I can't even front. I like Jake. I do.
I mean, I think Jake's gonna win only because, like, I mean, Mike really old, so
I'm a bet on him to win.
No, I against Mike Tyson. No,
Yo,
man.
look, I'm gonna send you something after the Sterls. A couple years ago, maybe it's closer to like 5-6 years ago. He did like a celebrity boxing match where he was like, it was a pay-per-view. They had like, I don't even know who they had come out and rap. It was terrible.
him and Roy, right?
What happened?
Him and Roy, right?
Yeah,
It looked bad.
it looked bad, man. He was out of breath.
Bad.
He was out of shape. He was hanging all over I was like, nah, this ain't Mike no more. So I just from seeing that a couple years, I know he's trained longer this time, but still from seeing that, I can't. There's no way in good faith. I've seen Paul, like I've seen Jake, I've seen this dude lay people out for real. There's no way I'm a just
He definitely doesn't knock him out, but I do think he wins. I think he moves a little too fast.
I think he's a better fighter than people give him credit for. People think, oh, he's going against Mike. He crazy. I think he's a good. He actually put in the work to become a fighter. Like the dude is serious about it.
If you beat Silva, even in boxing, like Silva,
that dude is
he's a nice boxer. So like I that's when I gave Jake. I didn't like Jake at first. His Team 10 thing and his young stages kind of killed it at that point. And now, like after getting to know him and he matured a little bit more, like he definitely after that Silva fight gained a lot of respect points for me, whatever that means. But I enjoyed that fight really.
Well, see, for me, when it comes to fights, I like fighters. Not like other sports is different, but fighters. Well, no, it ain't different in other sports. I like people that if you're gonna be cocky or if you're gonna be like, you back it up, and he backs it up like as much as possible. And I, you know what I mean? Like he hasn't taken a major L in my opinion. So it's like, I love it. Talk that talk. You know what I mean? Like, I love it.
I guess it's the nostalgia for me. Growing up, watching Tyson just knock dudes out. It's like when he's one of your like titans, you know what I mean? It's like, it's hard to see him like touchable. You know what I mean?
I get
it's hard.
It's going to make a lot of fans sad after that.
Yeah, I'll be one of them. I will be one of them. Make sure you call and check on me after the fight.
Jake got my money on that bet. That's what it is.
Dog. Tyson, man, he was a man.
Well, let's real quick before we get out of here, man. Let me get your opinion on the Bills. I know I threw the little jab in there for a second, but the Bills are 3-0, and now we go up against Lamar Jackson and the Ravens this weekend. And one of the things that let's start with the offense. One of the things that I'm the most impressed about, outside of like the obvious, like obviously we could talk about Josh being Josh and doing whatever Josh is doing. Joe Brady has like completely changed my opinion on who he is to me or who he was to me. My recollection of Carolina days, and then the offense last year I thought was better once he took over. But he didn't really have a real chance to install his stuff. So I judged it based on what I saw. The stuff that I'm seeing, the concepts and the way he's disguising the plays, the way they're simple plays, very simple plays, but he's disguising it really well. That's where I'm at. What about the team outside of now the fact that you're a Dolphins supporter and that's that squad for you and teal and green, all that? I get it, right? Outside of that, realistically, what's your take on how the offense is looking, and what's to like this year about the Bills?
The growth of Cook and the O-line. The O-line is better run blocking than I thought they were going to be, losing Mitch. But as far as everything else to do with that offense, Brady, I get it, but I see Josh changing the play at the line of scrimmage more than I ever have. I see him going out there, setting up in a regular offensive lineup and changing and doing a lot of things pre-snap, which he's never done, at least not while we were there. I don't know if maybe it was Diggs. Maybe Diggs being there, he didn't want to change as much and wanted to run the play the way it was there for or whatever. But Josh is IQ-wise and how he's been playing as far as smart, not even like the talent. The talent, we knew the talent was there. We've been on the talent was there, but he's able to manage a game right now. He's able to, but he has been playing with leads. I mean, the Cardinals game, but he's been playing with leads against good teams. So it'll be interesting to see it, like if the Ravens get out to a lead, to see how that works. But for the most part, I've seen Josh be 10 times better than I've ever seen Josh be. So I don't know how long or if that stays throughout the entirety of the season. or how long that goes, but I've definitely this first 3 games has been the best Josh I've ever seen.
Facts. Sterls, I want your opinion on this statement from Walter. He says, still insanely early, so I'm not overly concerned, but we need to see more from Samuel. So far, he's nothing more than a high price tag McKenzie. And we know, I get it. We know he's way more than that. But how do you feel about that statement? He's a high priced McKenzie right now.
I mean, yeah, I get the sentiment, but it's working. Like, even if he doesn't produce anything the rest of the season, the way the offense is constructed is not supposed to go through one person. You know what I mean? So I think the best word to describe this offense is patient. They're patiently aggressive. You talked about James Cook. I mean, I've been hard on James Cook at some points in the past, and the way he approaches the line of scrimmage, doing all that dance and stuff. You see a more deliberate runner.
Mm-hmm.
The way Josh is manipulating the pocket, we talked about him evading the pocket too soon. He's sitting back there and just dealing. Like, I think, when you have Gabe Davis and you have Stephon Diggs, it's like Josh forgot the fundamentals of quarterbacking in some regard. And I think once you strip that away, it's actually making him, it's like a reset. It's made him play the game the way it's supposed to be played based off of his skill set. And he's leaning into that heavily. And I think that's why you see how efficient he is. So I don't think we need Sam. It'd be nice to have Sam to do his thing, but like, I'm good with where it is right now.
I think that Samuel's injury, his toe injury, is more than what the Bills want to let off. I think he's healthy enough to play. I think, whatever pain medication he can take or however they handle his toe before the game to make it numb enough but I think that is something that's going to linger for a bit for this season. But I do like what you said there, Sterls, because I think what we're seeing from Josh and Poe, tell me if again, we're Bills fans, so it's always going to be a little skewed here, but like I feel like what we're seeing from Josh last year when you play with the Diggs, with the Davis, with these guys where you feel like the talent level was like, okay, even if we got to force it, Diggs can win that one-on-one. Boom, interception sometimes. But what I think happens is they played at an elite level at times so often that Josh kind of grew to like this all Madden level of Josh Allen, right? And then now when you take away, like Stroh said, you take away those players, and then you give him a bunch of guys that are just like, yo, we all about to go out and eat. We're going to get open. Whichever one of us is open, hit us. Boom. And when that happens, I think you're looking at an all Madden version of Josh playing on rookie. That's what it's looked like this last 2 games. No diss to the Dolphins, but that's what it's looked like this last 2 games where Josh is out there literally, he's not even trying hard. You know what I mean? Like there was one pass that I thought probably could have and should have been intercepted this last game. But other than that, like I haven't seen bad decisions being made. He's literally guys are open. It's not even like he's throwing it in like there's somebody kind of sort of hanging on a dude and whatever. Guys are, and he's leading them. He's putting the ball out in front of them in a way where like they're able to get some yak. So the way I see Josh right now is he's an all Madden level player out on the field playing on rookie.
Well, he's doing less. Like he's doing less of his individual skill and talent, doing less forcing, and he's doing more before the snap. And so like that's how I agree with. And Spence and Sterls, you both can back me up. I didn't put this publicly back then, but after that Bengals loss, I told you that we should have traded Diggs. And when I said that, I was like, you can get a lot of pieces back for it. And you Spence, you may not agree with me still because I know you like Diggs.
Agree with what happened.
Yeah, because you like Diggs, and I get it. But I said that we should have traded Diggs and got defensive pieces or offensive pieces, linemen back for it, whatever. Because there's a mentality as a quarterback knowing that you're him in that locker room. And I think there was an ego battle between and not even a battle because Josh is the type to give it up. To give up that he's not the type to fight it. So like if there's a guy with the ego in the roster, Josh is gonna let him have it. And I think Josh needed to know that he was him in that locker room for him to start doing things like this and changing the plays of the line of scrimmage. And I wish that had been made prior because I would like to see what Josh would have looked like in the last couple of seasons, even without Diggs. I think Diggs was important to get Josh to where he was.
Right.
And then I'm not taking away Diggs as an elite. not taking away from Diggs, but there's this thing about having a guy like Cooper Kupp would have been a great receiver for Josh. There's no ego there. There's not a guy that you're going to have to battle. So like there's certain guys that don't have that type of ego in the locker room, and there's certain quarterbacks that can handle it. Aaron Rodgers, I think, can handle guys with ego. Tom Brady, he can handle guys with ego, but I don't think I think Josh kind of let Diggs' personality take over that locker room, and there is not that anymore. There's no more personality in that locker room.
Yeah, no, I can agree with that. And for those listening with me agreeing, and I don't even think what Jared's saying here is a diss to Josh. I think it's the truth about his personality. Josh is one of those guys where he wants the locker room to be peaceful. You know what I mean? So like his energy is going to be not necessarily just in agreement with what everything was happening, but he's going to be supportive of things where he feels like it can go in a direction of winning. So, you know, what he's saying, I think, is 100% accurate. Sterls, you got any last thoughts on the Bills before we get on out of here?
Yeah, no, I love what you guys just said. I feel like Steph stunted the growth of Josh, like after the second season. You know, like I think they were great for each other and getting to where they wanted to be, but like the next phase, I felt like it was missing. Right. So Spence, you mentioned, you know, guys being open. The guys were open last year too. This ain't nothing new. Josh just chose to not throw him the ball. Like he just chose not to throw it for whatever reason, because he's so locked in on like Steph's got to get his 10, Gabe's got to get his 8, Kincaid needs his 5. I mean, you know what I'm saying? It was too much thinking. Now I think, you know, he's done so much thinking, and I think that benefited him in a way, but it feels like he just don't care. He's just out there playing football, backyard football. That's what he's always been able to do. And now he's doing it to better than we've ever seen him do it. It's nice to see, man. It really is nice to see. I bet you next season they're going to add another piece to that offense as a wide receiver, probably a young rookie, and that's going to be the next phase of Josh Allen's career, is with, you know, Coleman and Kincaid and whoever else, Shakir and whoever else they draft. But I like it, man.
I like it. I hope they draft somebody in the first or second round. Like I'm all in for like. Go a couple years where you're drafting guys. Go get a dog for Josh. You know what I'm saying? Like go and get.
Well, you think they should draft wide receiver first round?
I do. Like I get. And now this is way too early.
I think they go defensive end.
No, and that's what I was about to say. This is way too early. This isn't into draft time. I'm not talking about. Really
I'm always there, dog.
I'm not. So I'm not talking about really what I feel like the overall needs of the team are. Because to be honest with you, I feel like, with the way injuries have gone, I wouldn't mind drafting another linebacker either. Just with the way injuries have gone.
No, totally fair.
So there's needs, you know. So I'm not saying that, like, I'm saying when you got Josh Allen, I say this so much. Sterls is probably sick of hearing me say it. You do not want the Bills to be what the Green Bay Packers have been to Aaron Rodgers. Meaning, Aaron Rodgers never went and drafted a number one. Now, I get it, Devontae Adams. He wasn't drafted there. He became that. They didn't expect that. Just like Diggs wasn't expected to become what we saw him as.
Right.
They became that. I'm talking about go and get you.
They developed him.
Like Daryl said, go and get him a Malik neighbor. Go get him.
You don't think Josh is better without the pressure of needing to throw to someone?
No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying go and get somebody with the talent. I'm not saying get somebody like the personality. We don't need Diggs again.
You think there's a wide receiver in? I don't know in this day and age. This is my thing. That's why I said Cooper Kupp, Puka Nacua. Those are two very good examples. I don't think that there's guys in the first round of any draft for this new generation of players, first or maybe even second, wide receivers without that ego. And which is why I was saying, like, you might have to find your guys in the 4th, 5th round. That's where you found Shakir. And I know Coleman, but they kind of sit on his ego quickly. Like, you know what I mean?
But see, I feel like this is the stage of his career where I feel like Josh has to be. When new guys come in, I could see it being how it was, where Steph was here, you traded for him. It is what it. I get that. You go draft a kid. Josh Allen has been a pro for 7 years now. You go draft a kid. This is Josh's team. Anybody that comes in here, this is Josh's, and I need Josh to walk around with that energy that this is my. So you a first round, but yeah, you talented like that, and you're gonna get the ball when you open. But guess what? This is my team. Tom Brady dealt with a year of Antonio Brown.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I get it. Because like while that's all true, I get it. But there's also, we haven't seen it. We've seen it from Mahomes. You draft Xavier, and we've seen it from Mahomes, and we've seen it from Brady. We've seen it from Aaron, but we haven't seen it from Josh yet. And we're going to at some point. They're going to have to draft a guy, but who knows when.
I'm with you, but I personally feel like you go and get that guy. You go get the talent. They got to mesh with Josh. And what young player? This is the part about Diggs that confuses me. And then we really done. I'm sorry, I kept y'all over. I said we were going 35 minutes.
Straight.
The thing with Diggs, do you know how many guys in the league wishes that they get an opportunity to play with a top 5 quarterback for 5 to 7 years? Because if you consistently are the number 1 guy for a top 5 talent, you're going to put up numbers at the end of your career that will be Hall of Fame numbers. Like, I get it. The goal is a Super Bowl, but there's also goals. People want that gold jacket. People want them Offensive Player of the Week awards. People want to hit them incentives in their contracts. And now Diggs is going to be Diggs. I'm not saying he's not, but you look at his number, the production level on a team that has the type of players that they have, the way the offense is ran, he's not going to get those. It's not going to happen, man.
Josh will be deadly with a Cooper Kupp or Puka Nacua. If that
Josh
is,
will be deadly
if you
with
could
anybody with
find
talent. Yeah.
I agree, but like that, he would. I mean, it might be broken if he can get guys with that personality in the first round. I just, you barely see it, and the fact that the Rams have gotten 2 of them is insane. But like, you rarely get to see it, and I hope that at some point Keon could become that. I think Coleman they've sat on his ego enough that if once he becomes great, I think Coleman could become that. But I do think that it's hard to do. But you're right. If they were able to get one, it might be crazy.
Yeah.
Sometimes, man, you got to get them and mold them. You got but you got to get the talent.
That's it.
Because I tell you what, it's one thing to get the humble guy and to get the guy that's able to just. I want Justin Jefferson on my team. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want CeeDee Lamb on my team. Dak Prescott gets to throw to CeeDee Lamb every week. You see how Sam Darnold is looking with Justin Jefferson? You give Josh Allen, y'all know how we do it.
You might go backwards. Might go backwards.
No, come on.
Might go backwards.
Give him Malik Neighbors.
You give Josh.
You might go backwards.
Yo,
ego. You might go backwards.
You crazy. You give Josh a Justin Jefferson level talent. That is Randy Moss. That is Randy Moss and Brady 2.0, man. It's that season all over again.
Josh with no talent is what we like.
We don't like it.
Yeah, that's what we like. That's what we're seeing. 40 points a game. Josh with no talent.
Y'all bugging. Y'all bugging, bro. Not y'all, because Sterls is with me.
Look, he just talking shit. He don't believe that. He don't believe that. He just don't want to see it.
Y'all know how we do it over here on the Rumblings Network. Y'all love each other, take care of each other, and live in peace. And as always, stay positive. Test negative. Go Bills.
Go Bills.